Hello, this is an unscheduled live. It's 9:30 in the morning. I've barely been up, only up enough to have half a cup of coffee so far. And the reason I've actually made this live stream is, well, two reasons. One, I've got some notes to take down, and I've got a free house this morning. So I'm just going to merrily be doing what I would normally do at this time of the morning on this day of the week. I've just set the camera up on my phone so that we can chat if anyone's free. Now, for anyone to join a live stream at this time midweek is be bit lunatic, bit lunatic, bit what's the word? See, it's too early, a bit crazy. I don't actually expect a turnout, to be fair. I don't normally on a live stream expect much of a turnout anyway, but yeah, if you watch this on a replay, maybe skip ahead 10 minutes or so from here, and I'll explain actually what I wanted to explain on this chat. Hello, thanks for joining. I didn't expect anyone to actually hop on at this time of the morning. I'm essentially just going to be taking some notes. I've got to do some note taking while I wait for some people to join. And then I just wanted to explain a few things that are going on here. So yeah, you'll have to excuse me. It's going to be a little bit boring for the next few minutes, unless of course a few more people jump on, and then I'll chat. But yeah, feel free to chat away. Anyone in the chat if you want to. I'll reply where I can. Thank you. I don't know why you think that, but I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Oh, I am recovering from COVID right now, so that's why I look and sound funny. So yes, I got COVID earlier in the week, and yeah, I'm just recovering, and I feel a bit nasty. But I've got a few things. I take a lot of notes. This is a thing about me. I write a lot of notes, even if it's on scraps of paper or things that I need to get done throughout the week or throughout the day. I find it easier, weirdly enough, than having like a board telling me what to do, or having like the calendar on my phone or whatever. If I just write notes, I get things done. If I actually do something really nice and present it well, or have it on my phone so it's ease of access, I don't actually get things done. It's ridiculous. So I just sit and write some notes in the mornings. But yeah, in a few minutes I'll explain the whole point of this live. I actually have a tiny little pre-recorded thing off my phone that will explain stuff too, because a lot of people don't like checking back on live streams. I don't blame them, because I don't really check back on people's live streams either, unless they've got like a special guest on of someone that I really want to hear what they have to say for. But this mug, by the way, this came from when I went to Spain as a teenager, and I've kept it all that time. So that was quite cool. I always forget that I've even been to Spain. I think that's because I also went to Japan, and Japan was amazing. So, well, I hope you're doing well, by the way. How are things your end? Oh dear. Right. What else was there? I knew there was something else I needed to do. They were done yesterday. They were done yesterday. They were done this morning. Oh yeah. Just trying to get a bit more organised. Cloudy, is it? I can't even tell what the weather is here because I haven't stepped outside yet. My wife did the school run, and I've got stuff on my windows, that like a sticker type thing that prevents people looking in, because I'm in a bit of a dodgy neighborhood and people do try and look in your windows because they want to know who to rob or whatnot. So I put all this on, which means I also can't look out of the window, which is a bit of a pain. So yeah, I couldn't tell you what the weather's like down here. I do have to go outside after this live stream though anyway, so I'll know then. Yeah, I feel really disorganized right now because of where I've been ill. I haven't really been able to do a lot. That's just it conked me out. Right, where have we been? We've been live for 5 minutes. If you want to hold on another, well, 5.5 minutes, hold on another 4.5 minutes. When we get to the 10-minute mark is when I'll kind of just explain what this is about. Because when I started this live, I told people to, if they're watching on a replay, to skip ahead 10 minutes, and you'll find out. It's nothing exciting. It's just like an explanation. I very rarely get time to myself, so it's quite nice to just stick the camera on, and then if people want to chat, they can. So. I've got a real issue with fruit flies in this room at the moment. It's so bad, and they just keep flying in my face. I had one go up my nose yesterday. It's a nightmare. I've got little fruit fly traps everywhere as well, but it's because there is a lot of fruit being used in here, so they're not just forage flies, although they're there as well. There are actual fruit flies because my kids really like fruit, but they don't always eat it all. So everything, I don't like wasting stuff, so it just goes in with the roaches, and they love it. People always worry about, this is the thing that I find interesting as well. People always worry about about overfeeding. I understand it in predatory animals, but when it comes to things like roaches and pods and stuff, the only problem with overfeeding is for it to have time to mold. But for example, I've got Luciometica substincta, pretty decent colony up that way, and those guys could just thrive on anything I shove in there. So I had in my fridge, from where we've been not well, we haven't been really eating much. So I had 4 apples that were going a bit funny. I had some old bananas I found at the back of my fridge, right? I know it's gross, completely browned bananas. And I had a few strawberries left over that were starting to mold that the kids didn't want. Now that's a lot of food to put in with one species of roach, right? And I did it anyway. And I could tell you what, I woke up this morning and they took a large chunk of that away. The strawberries are gone. The apples are well bitten into. One of the bananas is fully gone and another one is bitten into. So you get it a lot where people are like, you can't be putting this much in there. It's going to go moldy. It's going to kill your colony. No, it's not if you're careful, right? So if that stuff starts to go proper minging, I take it out. You do have to have higher ventilation and things, though, if you're going to start chucking in loads of scraps, because obviously that makes your air go a bit dodgy. But I've got a fully vented top on that. So, yeah, there is loads going on there. See, I like to do things a little bit differently. If somebody tells me you can't do that, I will take it on board, but I will try things my own way. There are so many things I found in the invertebrate hobby as a whole to be completely untrue that other people have said. Like, I busted so many myths when it came to isopods, and I barely even keep them now. I've got some duckies, and I've got a few that I got in a little mystery boxy type thing. In terms of isopods, that's all I've got now. But when I had loads, I busted so many myths, and I've explained these to people. This is years ago, right? This was what, like 3-4 years ago? There are still people now that obviously they've not seen anything I've said, so I will tell them these bits of information. They still think I'm absolutely bonkers. Like made some shit up and I'm doing some big no-nos in the isopod world. And I'm like, first of all, I did this before you guys were even a keeper of isopods, right? I'm not trying to be egotistical here, but it winds me up when you get someone that started collecting something for 3 months, start telling me I'm wrong because I put things to the test years ago that were successful. It really, really bothers me. Like, I'm all for people debating. I'm all for people going, oh, I wouldn't do that because, or how did this actually turn out for you? Or whatever. Having those conversations, I'm all for. But when you just get in, like, people just outright going, that's not a thing, or that didn't happen, or you can't do that. I'm like, well, no, you see, you're just going on information. A lot of it's old information as well. A lot of these new iSpot people are thriving off old information. I find that hilarious. And they're just keeping to it. And if we did that, we'd still be having tarantulas feeding off bloody sponges, wouldn't we? I mean, that had a clear reason why it was not good. People stopped it. But there are so many things to trial out with these animals. As long as you're not deliberately trying to put them in danger, you're not being horrible or abusing them. This is how research works, and it's absolutely crazy. Hey, Moon, how you doing? So, yeah, it's just me having another mini rant there because it really... Good night, mate. It really boils my blood. I've got a really big issue with the isopod hobby right now. And just to make it clear, that's nothing to do with Micro Exotics. I filmed them for a reason. I filmed them because I trust them. I filmed them because they are not a part of the hobby that annoy me. They are the good part of the isopod hobby. And there are a few other good parts of the isopod hobby too. But the way that that's come now is disgusting. Hello, mate. How you doing? For some reason, I've got a simple way. You should be... Oh, at work now. I'm on day off today. Fish tank aquascaping, or do you have any fish? So, I have a pretty decent size fish tank, right? So it once became the Forest of Pestilence, where I had multi-species in it. Very, very successful, by the way. Like, incredibly successful. But I stopped doing it because that was in our bedroom, and the fruit fly problem and forage fly problem really wound up the wife. So I said, right, we're going to clear that out. We're going to have a dry tank, completely dry. So we did a desert setup. Made the desert setup. It was kind of cool, but it was just not interesting enough for me. But I kept it going. And then we developed another problem. And the other problem was our false widows that are living in this country. They climbed in. I think it was Nobilis. And because they liked the warmth of that environment, they started laying egg sacs. And I woke up one day to thousands of, and I'm not even joking, thousands of false widows in that tank. When I cleared it all out, I can't even remember all the numbers now, but let's just say I think there was something like 6 or 7 adult females hiding in bits of bark in there. There was tons of egg sacs. There was like 2 males and a few juveniles in there, and obviously the thousands of young. So I thought, right, I can't do that either. So I started to make it an actual fish tank. That's the point I'm trying to get at. I haven't done anything with it since. So I got it right. I got the water in there. I don't have much decor in it yet. It's not scaped very nicely. It was just a test because I'd never used it as a fish tank, see, and it was secondhand. I wanted to make sure it was watertight and everything. So I filled it up, and now it's about half full, where time's ticked on, and I've not ever bought anything for it because I actually don't have the finances to mess with that. But my original intention was actually to get aquatic isopods, keep aquatic isopods in there. Once they bred enough, then I was going to go into delving into learning a little bit about fish. They're not my main thing, but I was going to get some fish, and they will end up feeding off the isopods over time anyway. And that was a plan, but that's not really come to be until I have more money again, because I find that fish keeping and doing fish tanks is bloody expensive. I mean, just to set that up as a normal, really basic tank with next to no decor, it cost me a fortune. So yeah, it's on the back burner. But yeah, I'm probably not going to go deeply into it. In terms of my favorite bug, that's a really hard question. I'll have a few. So Extatosoma tiaratum stick insects will always be one of my iconic animals. They're so common, but they are what got me into the hobby. So I will always appreciate those. In terms of roaches, I've never shown these on the channel, and I can't show you right now because these guys are quick. They're escape artists, and they're by the lid at the moment. But I don't know if I could pronounce this right, but I think it's pronounced Eurycotis or Eurycotis decipiens, something like that. They are cool, right? And I will show them off on here once I've successfully bred them. So I've got a very small amount at the moment. I'm working on breeding them. Once I have young, I will show you why they are so cool. What else? There's so many things I like. My favorite tarantula of all time is one I've never owned, which is Panthobeteus solaris. I've always wanted one, and although I'm not into tea keeping much anymore, I have like 9 or 10 now compared to the hundreds I had before. That is a spider I would get if the price ever became reasonable. Yeah, so there's a few. I think the animals I'm enjoying dealing with at the moment the most are my Luciometrica subcincta that I brought up earlier, glow spot roaches. They're so easy, they're so cheap, they're so common, but I really like my colony. I just really like what they're so active. There are times where when they're out of food and things, they will dig underneath, and I'll look in the tank, it just looks like a tank of soil, and you'll see about 2 or 3 walking around. And then, either when night hits, we chuck some food in, boom, there are hundreds just on the surface, let alone what's underneath the soil. And I love that. I love just seeing that, like, all the time, just seeing that from, oh, where have they all gone, to boom, there's loads there. I really enjoy that. And that tank, I'd love to upgrade it one day, but I just don't have the space. What else has been said in here? Cost more than I thought with plants, etc. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, and I'm never going to get rid of that tank because it was gifted to me as well. I was really lucky. It's a really big tank, and it was gifted to me. And the people gift it, even with my assistance, delivered it to me, which was so nice. Like, they didn't want anything for it, even the petrol money. And it's been such a good asset that I don't know. I just don't know what to do with it. If I have a dry scape thing in there, I'm going to get the false widows. If I have one that's too damp in there, I'm going to get the flies. If I have it as a fish tank, it's going to be expensive. So I think we're probably going to wait for a while. I'll probably just let the water run dry again in there. I've got algae growing in there from where it's had a constant stream of water, which I kind of like, because I'm going to try feeding that algae to some of the animals and see how they take to it as well. So that's kind of cool in a way, but having just an empty tank running is just a waste of electricity. So we're going to have to wait and see. I've gone way past my time limit now, so I'm going to put my notebook down. I'm going to tell you what's going on. So, some good news and some bad news for viewers. The bad news is, we'll just jump straight to it. I'm not gone again, but I'm not going to be as regular with content. And I'll tell you why. Let me have a sip of my coffee. Sorry, my throat is killing me. So, the video that I did, I hope you watched it, where I filmed at Micro Exotics in Cornwall. I loved every moment of doing it. So I loved heading out there with Beth, to my mate Beth and her partner, and their friend came as well, actually. And heading out there, it's just a fun journey. We're chatting all the way. We get there. We had an amazing day. And then even when I was home and I was tired and I knew I had to start editing, once I started editing, I thoroughly enjoyed that too, right? I enjoyed the entire process of that. And any kind of enthusiasm was real. It was genuine. I've done a couple of videos since that I have not published, and I've not published them because I'm not happy with the way they've turned out. I may publish them in the future, but I doubt it. So I have done a couple more. I've not put them out, and it's because I've lost that love, because it was content to be content, and that's what I want to stop. I don't want to have to create content. So this is how YouTube works, right? So if you are regular and you stick to a schedule, YouTube favors you a bit more, right? They will push your stuff a little bit more. When you're not regular, it doesn't work that way. Your videos stop getting shown everywhere. Your recommendations start getting shown. Even when people have your notification bell turned on, it doesn't always notify everybody. They're a bit naughty, right? So you've got to keep it like a business, and I don't want to do that. I do not want to have to create content weekly or twice a week or whatever just to have my videos seen. So instead, I'm going to create videos that I know I'm going to enjoy filming. I know I'm going to enjoy sharing the information for, and I'm hoping that you guys at home will enjoy watching. Because when I'm having to do videos for the sake of keeping that algorithm, I'm less enthusiastic, I'm more rushed. There's no passion left. Okay, so where I'm in a situation now where I'm not as financially stable as I was before. So before I was, not only was I working full time, I had one child to look after. I had a really large room to do things in, and I was healthy. Now I'm working part time because of my health. I can't do as much because of my health. I do claim, unfortunately, now because I don't earn enough, but that all goes on my bills. Back when I was regular, I used to earn over £100 a month from Patreon, and Patreon funded my hobby basically. So I would have £100. This is how I worked it. I would either each month spend that on stuff to do with whether it's equipment or whether it's animals or whether it's food for the animals. It all went on the hobby, or I saved them up when a show was coming for a few months. So I had a few £100 to spend at a show. That's kind of how I worked for a long time. I don't have that now. So I have Patreon, but obviously people are not going to be paying me when I am not making content. So I think I still get about £8 or something ridiculous from it a month. So thank you to those who still pay. That's really cool. And I also am in this tiny house with 3 kids. It's at the point where I cannot easily do everything. I cannot easily film, because with the kids running around, setting up cameras, setting up lighting, dealing with animals that you don't want escaping, you need to concentrate on dealing with, is very hard. Plus the fact that I can't lift the enclosures as easily as I could before. If I make one wrong move, I'm put out for a few hours. Can you imagine being in the middle of filming and suddenly I've made one wrong move and I'm like, oh my God, I've got to stop filming. Or if an animal is like out, I've got to be very, very careful. I've got to only film when I'm on a good health day. It's so much that I do not want to do regular content for content's sake, because you're just going to get the same bunch of animals that I've got in here time and time again till I've got some money, right? So going back to, and I will read comments again in a second, going back to what my actual plan is to still create content, but create content, as I said, that I enjoy, that I think you guys will enjoy, and something that has a purpose, whether I think that it's going to be entertaining for you or educational for you. They're the 2 key things. I want a video to either be some form of entertainment or some form of education. Otherwise, they're pointless. And unfortunately, a lot of, and I'm not naming any names, I feel that a lot of the invertebrate YouTube lot have kind of gone that way. They've gone stale. Not everyone. There are still a few I watch, but I don't want to be saying this person's good, this person's bad. Right? I'm just saying, from my personal experience, a lot of the YouTube community has gone stale and it's boring. And I rarely watch anyone anymore. And I was a guy who used to watch about 50 different people. and I just don't care so much anymore. And it's a shame. You'll either have channels that only do unboxing, you'll have channels that only do spend 10 seconds looking at this species while I show you its full care, but it's not actually full care because I don't really know what I'm talking about. So here's just some guesswork that I've read off of Wikipedia, and there's your video. You see, it's not the way it should be, and it's not the way it used to be, and it's a real shame, and I don't like it. So I want to be able to find information that I know to be true, or that I'm, pretty sure is true, rather than anything else. So that also means when I get things, I need to learn about them. This is why I haven't shown you. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 species of cockroach that have never featured. Eight species of cockroach that have never featured on this channel, because the only information I can give you on their care is what has been provided to me. I've not been able to work it out for myself. I have not had enough successful breeding or anything like that to be able to tell everyone on the internet this works for this species. So the worst thing people are doing is getting something new, telling you a bunch of guesswork, so other people go out, they buy that same animal, they follow that same information, that colony or that animal, that species dies in their care. It's not right. It shouldn't happen, and unfortunately that's the way things are. I'm not willing to do that. That's why. So at some point you're going to have, hopefully, 8 videos on different species of cool roach. You may not, because I might fail on some, in which case you might have more 6 videos or 4 videos. It doesn't, I don't know, because I've got to work it out before I make content on it. What is that? I've missed some stick insect eggs that have hatched in the tank. I'll sort that out later. Oh my god. Anyway, that's a new thing to add to my list. So this is the bit that I want to tell you that I'm going to do. And let me just read the comments first. So I'm going to tell you what my game plan is for now. Do shorts and it'll keep YouTube happy. Yeah, I also, I don't want, it's hard to explain. Shorts it's just not me. I understand where you're coming from a business perspective, from a algorithm perspective, from a being viewed perspective. Perfect thing to do. It really is. It's just not me. When they shorts first came out, I watch a few shorts now, not necessarily in the animal world, but I watch random shorts, and you get hooked on them just like you do with TikTok and things like that, which I don't have. I don't do TikTok. But I hated them when they came out. And I just don't really enjoy making them, because you've got to be a bit more creative unless you're feeding something. And I only have like those 10 odd tarantulas. Unless you're really feeding something, you've got to be really creative and put them up quite regular. But I will bear what you said in mind, and maybe at some point I will make a stack of shorts and then just start posting them all the time, because maybe that will help. Maybe it will. Maybe it's me being lazy. I don't know. And thank you for still being able to support through my health. I appreciate what you said there. So here's what I wanted to talk about. This is one of the things I am going to be doing, though. Bear with me a second. Caffeine and nicotine. Don't follow my health plan, kids. So where I am financially in the pooper when it comes to the animals. Good morning. Oh, hello, mate. How you doing? It's been a long time. Where was I going with this? Yeah, I want to learn about more native animals. That's the point I'm trying to get at. So native animals, 1, they are free. 2, if I end up having a bad patch in my health and I can't look after them, I set them free. Or if I get overwhelmed by them, I set them free. And when I am done with them and I've done my research on that specific species, I set them free. So I want to learn about a lot more native stuff so I can go out, I can look for it, I can collect some things, I can keep them in captivity for a while and then release. Anything I learn, I can share with you guys if I think that it's interesting enough. If it's boring but still interesting to me, I'll just jot it down. Now, spiders is not really one of the things, believe it or not, that I will be searching for. There are a couple of species that I wouldn't mind giving a go, but in general, I don't actually find spider hunting in the UK that thrilling. It's kind of fun to do with a friend, but I don't have that many friends that I can go with that care about spiders. And finding the right locations, and then I'm having to rely on people to drive and things like that. So I don't spider hunting in the UK. Good morning, by the way. Spider hunting in the UK isn't that exciting to me. Now, believe it or not, one of the most boring things you can probably think of to look for in the UK is one of the main things I do want to look for in the UK, and that, believe it or not, is our UK native or UK naturalized slugs. So if you know me well enough, you know I always like an underdog. Now let's compare slugs to other things, right? If you're walking in the rain, you're busy, you're looking straight forward, you're watching roads, whatever, and you hear that crunch where you stood on a snail and you feel that guilt, that just shows that there is some empathy in you for that animal, right? Snails have a little bit of love. They might be hated by gardeners and things like that, but they have that little bit of love because you've trodden on one you feel bad, therefore you have care for it. Slugs get so much less love than pretty much anything else out there. People do not care. And there are not that many slug species that are actual pests to your gardens either. There are a few, yes, but there are a bunch that aren't. And we also have some really, really interesting species in the UK that you don't get other places. We even have, as far as as my research tells me, and this could be changed by now, the longest species of slug, terrestrial land slug, anywhere discovered in the world, even bigger or longer than the recorded banana slugs in America or the Americas side. So, and I know roughly the location they could potentially be. A little bit tricky to get to, but I know the location they could potentially be, and it's only about an hour from here. So I want to learn about certain species of slugs. I have an ID guide. I found some experts in the field, not personally, but online, that I can talk to. And it's just something that's intriguing me now. So I want to, at some point, do a little bit of slug collection. And I have I've got what I call shed 1 and shed 2 in my property, right? Shed 2 is a concrete shed that's actually round the corner. It's not connected to my property. I am in a housing association, housing estate, council estate, whatever you want to call it. And there's a row of 100 odd sheds belonging to each people in these blocks of flats, right? It's a bit of a pain for me to have to get to all the time. So that's shed 2, but it's a reasonable size. It's not big, but it's not small. And we have shed 1. Shed 1 is narrow. It's not very big, and it's connected to my house. So it's literally, I go out my front door and it's right round there. Shed 1, I've managed to fit some thinner shelving in. And that is where I'm going to keep any UK stuff that I take, because it's not going to affect them too much having a massive temperature change, like when I put the heating on. But it will take away the frost winds, the cold winds that can kill them through winter. So they will have an enclosure plus in a shed where it's still going to be really cold in winter, but it's not going to be unnatural. You see, so that's my thinking anyway. And we're going to try a few different species there. Now, there is one other type of animal that intrigues me, and it intrigues me again because it gets no love in this country, and that is harvestmen. Harvestmen get no love, right? A lot of people just call them spiders. They're not spiders, but they don't get a lot of love. And I would like to learn. I did collect 2 Harvestmen once before because I wanted to try learning them about a year or so ago. I put them in an enclosure indoors and they did not even last a week. Now, whether that is because they were old or whether because I did something wrong, or maybe there was something else I brought in on the piece of wood, like a spider that's attacked them or something. I don't know what went wrong, but I would like to relearn them. And some of them are tricky to ID as well, but I have a key somewhere. Here. Sorry, I will read comments in a minute. So this is the Harvestman key that I got over a year ago. And it will explain the species that we can find in the UK. Bye-bye. All right. And I would just genuinely like to see if I can breed some Harvestmen. And then set them free. Because they're unloved. And I like working with things that are unloved. Oh, and I got into the spider hobby. You had your spider lovers, you had your spider haters, right? And there were more haters than lovers. As time went on and the years passed and the hobby grew and the YouTube community grew and the education side grew, there's a lot more, there's still a lot of hatred, there's a lot more love for them now. Then we moved on to other things. People started making people fall in love with isopods, and I joined on that train too. Something that everyone found boring, they now find quite interesting, and that was really, really cool. What else is there? I mean, lately things have got bigger in the roach hobby, and in even there's a guy who's brought in earwigs from around the world, growing that interest. And I'm just thinking the things we don't have the interest are the slugs. Things we don't have interest are the Harvestmen, right? Snails have that bit of love, and you also got your giant African land snail. So there's an entire snail hobby that's really, really big, right? But if the snail hobby is this big, the slug hobby is this big. You know, it's and slugs evolved from snails. Slugs are the evolution of snails. They lost the shell. Like, well, they didn't. They actually still contain a bit of shell, but they lost that big, hard exterior. So they can actually get in small gaps. They can escape birds. They can escape being, it's more like survive being trodden on. They've adapted better to life, but they get less love. So this is the plan that we're going to try and learn, or I'm going to try and learn, then share with you guys stuff about some of our native unloved animals. And that is the point of what I was trying to say. That I have taken 30 odd minutes to actually come out and say, and I've got a little bit excited there. So now I need to go back and read. Right, where are we? So ants would be interesting, bringing more people. I agree, but my wife has a strict no ant policy. That is the one thing she said. Bear in mind that in the beginning of all this, she was terrified of it all. Spiders, everything, right? She allows the tarantulas, she allows the spiders, she allows everything, but her rule is no ants. So I have to stick to that. James is a UK native slug. Feel free to ask you questions. My garden's full of them. Feel free to. Yes, I need to arrange to come up to yours, mate. Actually, what I will do after this video, let me look at my work schedule and I'll arrange a time to come up. I probably have to get a taxi up to yours though, because I always forget where your bloody house is, like from the bus stop. I can never ever remember. So as long as I've got enough finances to get to you, then yes. And you've got the woods near you as well, haven't you? So that's actually pretty cool. Welcome me, I'm unloved. You are not unloved. I love you. You are loved, Jacob. Slugman Sam, yeah. Slug Realms. I would love to learn about slugs from you. Great idea. Thank you. I really hate slugs. See, but that's the thing. So if we go back, before I ever kept any invertebrate, I despised spiders. I despised pretty much everything. I always kind of thought snails were cool, and I liked caterpillars back then. When I was young, I liked raising caterpillars. I thought that was quite fun. But I hated so many other things, and I could not see the beauty in them or the point of their existence. But when I began to learn things, that fear turned to fascination. And that's obviously a very common saying in this hobby, fear to fascination. And it's true, it works. When knowledge is key, when you start to learn things, they're less scary. And when they're less scary, they can even become cute in your mind. Like, I can look at a tarantula and just think that it's a big, fluffy, cute little bear now. Whereas if when I was like, I don't know, 15 or whatever, you showed me one, I'd be like, I don't want to go anywhere near that thing. So this is kind of like what I do. I like to find the people that hate stuff, because I like to see if I can get you to turn that hate around. And if I do, my job is done. All right. There are people out there, they jump on the YouTube, they want the YouTube. They jump on YouTube, they want the money, they want the fame. What I want is people to learn, understand, and love things that are unloved, and to pass that knowledge on to other people. So whether it be children, friends, family, or whatever, that's my goal. This is one of the reasons I like underdogs. This is one of the reasons I get into that. And I've said this again. This sounds really egotistical, but I said this. What was it, like 4 or 5 years ago? I brought this up before, when the isopod hobby was just starting to kind of grow and become interesting to a few more people, and I got quite big into it. And I said, this is going to be the next big thing, like spiders were. People are going to suddenly want these everywhere, and I'll leave the hobby, I'll come back, boom, it's a massive hobby now. The isopod hobby is massive. Horrible, toxic, disgusting place in many ways, but it has grown massive. And I'm quite happy to have been a small part of that. And I'd like to do that with other things too. So, I mean, at the shows, like one thing I don't like leeches, right? Ugh, I don't like leeches. And a lot of my invert friends have kept leeches, because there's a guy, I cannot remember his name, comes to the BTS and other shows and things, and he bred leeches, medicinal leeches. And that became a thing. People suddenly started wanting to keep them and thought they were cool. I still can't do it. There's just still just like, I can respect the animal, but I don't want one, right? But anything, my point is, anything can become interesting. And the more something becomes interesting, the more educated we are. Because let's be honest, the amount of humans that kill animals on purpose is quite bad, right? I get the accidents, treading on, like stepping on things and killing things out of fear. Like, I get it, even though I don't agree with it, I get it. But sometimes people are just doing it for fun. I mean, even myself, when I was a kid, I remember just destroying an ant's nest because I found it entertaining. I would not do that now. And that's why I like it. You educate people, they stop doing these things. And I mean, kids are different. Kids are always going to do these sorts of things. It's how they learn, and it's an unfortunate part of life. But we don't need adults doing this kind of thing. If you see what I mean. Get a bug hotel, put it outside, and do a video on what you find. Yeah, I actually did intend to do that at some point, but I wanted to build my own. So when my health is better, I might actually do that. So I will let you know. I will let you know. And if I do make one, if I do ever get round to it, it'll be a while, but if I do ever get round to it, maybe you can name the hotel for me, as you're the one that put it in the suggestions here. I think we should cancel Sam and abuse. I was young and dumb. Oh, I still don't forgive you for chopping down your eucalyptus tree, James. That hurt me deep to the core. I'm getting my eucalyptus tree back, by the way. It's lived at my mum's for God knows how long, and she's got to move soon, and she's not going to have a garden, so I get my eucalyptus tree back. How I'm going to get it here, I don't know. I've got a little set of those wheels that you can push along. It's a potted eucalyptus. There's a big pot there, and it's very, very heavy. But maybe with some assistance, I can get it on the wheels and wheel a tree down the road, which would be quite fun. But yeah, I will get mine back. But we've chopped the top of it off now. It's gone from like a 8 or 9 foot tree. It's now like 6 foot tree or something. But it's just cut back, so it will regrow. So that's quite cool. Yes. Right. It's already nearly 10:30, so I'm not going to be on here too much longer. Like I said, I didn't actually expect people to really come on, especially in the morning. So it's quite cool, and thank you guys for hopping on. But I've done a bit of my list, and it means I have to actually crack on with that list in a moment. I should probably think about breakfast. Breakfast and yeah, workout days I'm free. Oh, so yes, James, I will arrange to come up to yours. I won't arrange it this week, although I would have had a free day Thursday, but I'm recovering from COVID and I don't want to still be contagious and bring that to you, because that wouldn't be fun, and you will never forgive me. So yeah, I'll see what days I'm working next week and the week after or whatever, and we'll figure out a time I'll come up. We'll do some collecting, some strolling in your gigantic garden that I'm incredibly jealous of. Yeah, it'll be fun. So, yeah, I think I'll just cut it there then. I think I'll just leave it there. I'll go and get some stuff done. I'm getting messages off the wife as well. She clearly doesn't have her notifications turned on, or she'd know that I was live. She's at college right now. So, I don't know why she shouldn't be messaging me at college. It's naughty. But there we are. Right. Okay, I'm going to end this then. So thank you everyone for. You missed it. You can watch back. So the live normally it takes a while to process once it's done, and then you can watch back again. If you do want to watch it back, skip about 10 minutes in, because anything in the first 10 minutes is probably a load of rubbish. So yeah, but thank you for jumping on anyway. Right, thank you for watching, everyone. I will see you next time, whether that's a normal video or another live stream. I might even make this a Wednesday morning thing, because I have every Wednesday early morning free for the moment. So take care, everyone. Bye-bye.